Well, we're on to the next project, and this has been the one I've been dreading the most. Putting the shower in. So I'm gonna now this. I think it's waterproof. I guess time will tell. So we're on to the next project here. This is the one that I've been dreading the most because I'm the most out of my comfort zone here. So this corner here is where the shower is going to go. And I've elected to go with the Musty Durastall, which is going to give me a nice 32 by 32 inch shower, which is going to be usable. So because my gray tanks are not inside or not outside and underneath or above, I have to go with a shower pump, which is no big deal. I've already got it, got everything planned out. But it means I'm going to have to raise this base. So right here in the corner is where the base is going to go, and then there will be another wall that gets built here to separate the shower area from the toilet area. Because again, the toilet floor is going to have to be raised too to accommodate the black tank. So here's the base. Got my 90-degree fitting on the bottom, and then the shower pump will set back here, and then a tube will come through here, up through here, and it'll come over into the gray tank. That's the plan. So I've got to build up something to not only support the base, but also to leave room for the electrical that passes behind the base, as well as the tube that passes behind there on its way to the gray tank. And of course, the pipe that goes into the center, all while maintaining enough support on this thing to support the base. So it's going to be interesting. So that's what I'm starting in today on. Also, the other thing is by the time I raise it, it's going to be too tall for the area. So I'm going to have to also trim all that down. So this is like I said, the project I wasn't looking forward to, in all honesty. But like any of the projects, we're going to figure it out. We're going to make it happen. And there we go, step one. 2x8 treated lumber. As you can see, I've outlined where the shower is going to be. So this small project had a lot of requirements in my mind. Of course, I wanted to build it as efficiently for weight as I could, as everything here in the trailer. But it had to be sturdy. It had to be something durable that was made of treated lumber. And with, as everything, when I build these things, when I build any project, as much recycled material as I can. And I don't mean torn out of other projects necessarily, but this is lumber I had left over from last year on a project I did in the backyard, building some planter boxes. So I've actually engineered how I'm going to do this base. I don't want to say with scrap, but with materials I had left over. So here we go. We got the start of our base, and we'll see how it goes. All right. There's the first two levels of treated lumber. This is 5/4 decking I put on here. Then I'm going to finish it off with some 1/2-inch treated plywood. And I think we're going to be good. Right now, we're just tall enough to be able to make it work. My problem with that is if the base has any flex in it, it's fiberglass, it's going to. We might break the pipe or the fitting or something. So I'm going to take it up that extra 1/2 inch. That's just going to give us a little bit more. As you can see, I've got the hole in it. Then it'll come back here. Back here is where my pump will be. Back in the garage, it'll take it up to the tank. We got the 1.5" 2x8 treated as the base and the 5/4 treated, and then the treated 1/2" plywood on top. So we now have enough elevation for our pipe to run underneath and get to the back. Not the prettiest. Like I said, I used a lot of pieces, things I had, but I didn't have to go out and buy anything, which is always the kind of the goal. We can do it with what we got. That's what we're going to do. So before we build this wall, I kind of wanted to scope out the black tank. As you know, the black tank's going to be going inside. And the way I plan to do it is to build I believe a 2x8 base that's going to take this tank up. Yeah, it's not going to be a lot of ceiling space in here. It's going to be a short ceiling. But I don't want the black tank underneath. I will not do that. So the way this is going to work is the black tank's going to set here. There is going to be a valve immediately, a gate valve immediately after this, right here. Then after that is going to be a fitting that's going to turn down and head down below the trailer. Now, next to the fitting, and you'll see the fitting, I'll get that stuff here pretty soon so we can take a look at it, is going to be an 1.5" gate valve. And that 1.5" gate valve is going to go this way through the wall over here to pick up the gray tank. That's the plan. Of course, a lot of this is build it as we go, but we're going to figure this out. And then, of course, we have our level sensors for the black tank, which will go right up on the other side of the wall to the readout for that. So that's going to be some of the next steps, figuring this out. I think we better figure this out before we build this wall here. A little anxious to get the wall built, but I think it'd be a lot better if we figure this out before we get that wall built. See what we got and what we want to do. So this is the plan. Black tank here, again lifted up, 8 inches supported. Come out of the black tank, and we're going to have a 3-inch gate valve there. We're going to have this fitting, which is a cool fitting. I had to order this, not something you just pick up locally, or I couldn't find one. And then I've got an 1.5" gate valve here that will go through the wall over to empty the gray tank. So how do I get to those valves? So glad you asked. I'm going to use some type of a hidden hinge, and there will be a door on the platform right here to open this up. So why in the world would I put these valves inside like this? Okay, this goes back again to not having things under the trailer that can freeze. So I want to be able to have the valves inside the trailer so I don't have to worry about things freezing underneath. Okay, so that's fine, but what do? Hook the hose up, come in, open the valves, and hope nothing's leaking on the other side? So here's my solution for this. The 3-inch will drop out the bottom, then it'll head over towards the side of the trailer. Now, it's going to have to go at an angle, obviously. I'll go down, put a 90 on it, or a 45, 60, whatever it takes, and then I'm going to have to turn, and I'm going to have to go over to avoid the wheel well. Offset it. That's what I may actually do. Drop down, and I may do a rolling offset. That may be the best way. 90 down, 90 right under here. Then I'll roll an offset over slightly to adjust the height and to adjust the where it comes out, moving it more towards the rear of the trailer. So once it gets there, then I just put on a traditional 3-inch gate valve. So what I'll be doing essentially is I will go ahead and make sure this gate valve is closed. I come up here and I open my black tank and it makes the drop, but it's stopped at that valve. That way I can go out, open it, then finish by closing black tank, opening gray tank, flushing the system, and then in reverse close this, come back, close these, etc., etc. That way it keeps that pipe under the trailer with nothing in it until these valves have been opened. Now, if it's 30 below outside, or is this stuff going to stop from freezing? No, but I'm looking to protect it, to where it doesn't freeze and what I'm going to call normal temperatures when we would want to be out camping. If it got down in the 20s or the teens overnight. And of course, I will put a vent in the front of this box here to let some air in so we don't get freezing under there. I may drop some insulation under this as well. I got plenty of the 1-inch, half, and 2-inch insulation left. So that's the plan for the black tank. Along with the shower, building the shower base and hooking up the shower, these are my two biggest worries. Then of course the plumbing, once this wall is done here, the plumbing will just come down into the wall and hook up for the shower, then up, of course, for the shower head. The blue line, the cold water you see there, will tee off and drop into this space. Oh, so over the wheel well, what's going on there? Well, I'm going to build a shelving unit in there to store bathroom essentials, towels, washcloths, soap, shampoos, things like that. So that'll be a pretty good way to use that space there. So that is the plan. Hopefully I can pull this off. And it not easy around here finding the black ABS pipe. I think I'm going to have to go to Lowe's for it and buy a lot that I don't need, but okay, so working on the shower base a little bit today. I've got my piece 1.5 inch glued on here. Got a piece of 1/2 inch styrofoam put in there, not only to support the pipe, give it a little insulation. I think I'm gonna spray some foam insulation up under here get an extended nozzle, spray some up in here to make sure that we don't get any freezing from the bottom. I don't expect to, and I don't really expect to be in cold weather, but let's make it to where that isn't going to be a problem. Then, of course, it's going to stick through out here. I got another piece of insulation there, and back here is where the shower box and pump will set. So I'm going to go ahead and before I put this in, I'm going to do something a little unorthodox, I think, but call it paranoia, if you will. But since it's something I'm not going to be able to get to, I'm going to use the good old Flex Seal. Now I've used this on the bottom around the fitting. Now I got to tell you, I tightened this fitting beyond belief, and I did follow the directions on tightening the fitting. But still, if this fitting decides to leak, taking this shower stall that I'm going to install in here out is going to pretty much be the end of the world. It's going to be a nightmare. So I'm going to put Flex Seal on the bottom of it around there. Yeah, I know that doesn't show a whole lot of confidence in my work, but still, when you're burying something, I think it's worth it. Well, I think it's doing what I wanted it to do. Looks to me like it's filling in that gap between the rubber grommet and the bottom. So I think I'm going to put a little bit more on it, and I think we're going to be sealed up for life here. It's not a trap or anything. There'd be no reason it's got to come apart. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. First it was a little iffy, but it looks to me like it's doing what I needed it to do. Well, trying out a little experiment today. I had this old 8000 BTU air conditioner. I used to use in the house, haven't used it in a few years, and thought I'd at least come out, of course making sure I got it plugged into a non-GFI outlet because it has a GFI. Single hose model, so not very efficient at all. Just wanted to see what it would do in here. It's a hot and muggy day outside. It's 85 right now. See if we can take the temperature down in here pretty quick. Again, I know it's inefficient as all get out. I mean, it just is. So, if we look over here, the power station is showing, and this is just a small Delta. This is my temporary one until I move the Delta Pros in. It's saying I'm using 940 watts, taking in 177 watts of solar right now. And it's pretty cloudy today. No direct sun, that's for sure. So, like I said, just a little experiment to see what this thing can do. And you know, if I were to go ahead and get some tape on it or something with the window, maybe I could get a little more efficient. But these single hose units, you know, I'm looking at doing something like possibly the Medea 10,000, 10 or 12,000. I've got a Medea 14,000 at home that I use, and one in the business, and is auxiliary cooling. And they work pretty good, and boy are they efficient. They actually pull less current than what this one does right here. But again, this is an old one I got at the local big box hardware store. Oh man, probably 10 years or more. It's been a long time, but it is still cooling. Works really good. But we're going to let it run for a while. Said we've got a little bit of an offset with the solar, so we're not eating it up, but it doesn't look like this power station would last more than an hour. So it's certainly not a full-time solution. But one way or another, we're going to come up with a solution for running the air conditioning in here on the power stations and recharging it. Like I said, the Wave 3 looks really interesting. Supposedly you can charge that battery up during the day with a 400 watt panel, and it should run all night in eco mode. All right, going to do a little more testing with it and see where we go. All right, great, my first Unisail. In the top of the gray tank here, this is going to be my vent. Right next to it or so will be the sink. And of course, over here will be the out for discharging the tank, for draining it. So this will be my vent, and I'm going to do something a little unique. I'm going to make, for just the last few inches of this vent, it's going to be a wet vent. And as you see, I found this fitting, you don't want to know what it cost, on Amazon. And the unique thing about this fitting is I can take the 3/4 inch braided hose that comes all the way from the back for my shower pump, put it right in here, and it'll drain right into my gray tank. I thought that was pretty clever. So anyway, it's going to go up, it's going to go over, and then it'll come into here. It will tee in here. So one side of the tee will end up going down to the black tank. Then we're going to go up and out the ceiling here for the vent. So there we go. I'm going to be able to get this thing vented properly, and I'm happy I don't have to cut another hole in the gray tank for the shower drain. Got my pilot hole drilled for my stack. Only problem is, yeah, that's not going to work. But I've confirmed it's going to make it. It's where I need it. So I am going to go ahead and drill it from inside. All right, so I got the hole cut. Nice tight hole here. And I got it glued on, coming from the kitchen sink, and of course bottom of T will go to the black tank. Or I should say coming from the gray tank. So now I gotta get some support behind this. I don't want this just floating. And then it'll be up to the roof. All right, so I have my full arsenal of goodies up here. Here's my pipe through the roof. I've got my aluminum cap. I got some Dawn to spray and clean the roof before I put it down. My hacksaw to cut the pipe. Impact. I got Lexel for right around the pipe. I got my lab sealant here. And yes, and the cap came with some screws, and it came with the butyl tape too. So I got my butyl tape put on, not real well. It's a little warm up here and it was pretty sticky, but I think I got it. So I've also taken and I put the Lexel around the black pipe and I squirted it down in there. Now I cut the hole really tight on it, but I squeezed in as much as I could, and with that there, I think we're gonna have a really great seal. And then of course the sealant on top of it, the self-leveling sealant. Also, you can see how well, hopefully you can see it, how well the Dawn really cleans these metal roofs before you do something like this. Nice aluminum cap on there. Don't have to worry about the sun baking it and having it wear out and crack over the next few years. So it wasn't that much more than what the regular was. Thankfully, I was able to get my screw gun all the way around. Didn't want to pull the solar panel down or anything. So we got it, and now we'll just put the self-leveling sealant on it. We'll be good. I've got to kind of rush to do it today because I had 2 days without rain, and from what I understand, it's best to use this, giving it 2 days. So, well, it's my first time using this self-leveling sealant. I don't know, maybe I used too much. Well, probably 2/3 of a tube. From what I understand, it's levels out. It'll just kind of ooze out and kind of be sealed over. I don't know. Maybe I gotta put more on it. But the area around it's clean. I got it good and clean, so I don't know. Put in the comments if I got this wrong or if you just let it level out. But I'm really comfortable. I think it's watertight between the Lexel and the butyl under it. And now this. I think it's waterproof. I guess time will tell.